The strength of the thunder resonance was beyond description. Under this booming sound, the entire starry sky trembled violently, the star mist swirling, with fierce beasts inside collapsing and dying from the shock. One after another, the primordial continent regions shattered with a loud explosion. Even the great formation of the demon sect flickered urgently, resisting the increasingly powerful thunder, which seemed to have existed since the birth of the heavens and earth. Within the demon sect, countless cultivators trembled under the furious thunder, unable to summon even the slightest resistance, like ants before the might of heaven and earth, utterly helpless. The heavenly tribulation, the heavenly tribulation. In that moment, the scene of the tribulation left an indelible mark in the memories of all the cultivators who witnessed it. If they failed to break this mark, their cultivation would stagnate forever, but once they shattered the mark, their cultivation would soar to new heights. The thunder resonance grew more intense, shaking the starry sky. The cracks in the sky emitted tearing sounds, and soon, the thunderous booms that echoed from within the clouds spread across the entire ninth-tier star domain, even spilling out to the surrounding regions, easily heard in the 8th-tier star domain. Tribulation response. Tribulation response. The thunder roared, as if these two words themselves were carried by the sound, booming out from the clouds. In an instant, as the world was overtaken by the deafening thunder, the dense clouds that enveloped the entire 9th-tier star domain suddenly split apart, with lightning streaking through, violently piercing through the clouds. The bolts of lightning were purple and interwoven within the clouds, racing toward the cracks outside the demon sect with reckless abandon. The lightning, the thunder, the purple electric radiance, in that instant, replaced the starry sky, drawing the attention of almost every cultivator in the 9th-tier star domain. There were too many bolts of lightning, too intense was the thunder, and the roaring sound was earth-shattering. Amid the endless purple lightning streaking through the sky, it covered an unimaginable distance in an instant. It was as if, in the presence of these bolts of lightning, nothing in the world could stop them, and the concept of distance no longer existed. In the blink of an eye, the endless purple lightning that pierced through the clouds of the 9th-tier star domain had already reached the cracks, forming a massive lightning net. As it condensed, the net contracted, turning into a thunderbolt nearly 1,000 feet long. Boom, boom, boom. The thunderbolt rushed toward the crack, carrying a murderous aura that could destroy everything, heaven, earth, and all life, before crashing down. The 1,000-foot-long lightning bolt captured the attention of all those who beheld it. At this moment, those cultivators who saw the lightning were left with blank minds, and all that remained was the indescribable heavenly tribulation thunder. This was a thunderbolt that seemed unstoppable, as if no living being could resist it. But just as the thunderbolt was about to strike the crack, a figure in red emerged from within it. As soon as the figure appeared, an overwhelming stench of blood filled the air. This bloodiness emanated from his clothes and aura, as though he had slaughtered countless beings within the crack, and the blood had solidified around his body. His appearance coincided with the thunderbolt's descent. The thunderbolt was so fast, it was about to crash down in an instant, aimed directly at him, intending to reduce him to ashes and wipe him from existence. The figure in red was Wang Lin. At the moment the thunder struck, Wang Lin raised his left hand to face the lightning, protecting Li Qianmei with his right hand. A single person, one hand, two cold gazes, like they could block the heavens. As he walked out of the crack, he challenged the heavenly tribulation, challenging the world itself. Boom, boom, boom. When the lightning clashed with Wang Lin's left hand, a much stronger sound erupted. The starry sky around Wang Lin crumbled violently, countless cracks sweeping across it, and the crack behind him was torn open even further. His body shook, and his left hand trembled lightly, but his expression remained calm as he clenched his fist fiercely. The heavenly tribulation's thunder is useless against me. As he squeezed his hand, the thunder shook violently. Amidst the raging thunder, a will surged from Wang Lin's left hand into the lightning, challenging the heavenly tribulation for control over the thunder of the world. Boom. The clash of wills within the 1,000-foot-long thunderbolt caused it to disintegrate, spreading the purple lightning in all directions, transforming the very fabric of the world into a thunder domain. The booming continued. Although the 1,000-foot thunderbolt had collapsed, Wang Lin was no longer the same. He no longer merely responded to the heavenly tribulation. He aimed to break through it. With his right hand, he flung Li Qianmei onto his back. The primordial energy within his body spread out, forming a rope that bound the two together. After completing this, Wang Lin formed hand seals and swung his hands out forcefully. In an instant, the thunder that had expanded around him roared to life again. I am the thunder. I wield the authority over the thunder of heaven and earth. All thunder, obey my command. Rise. Wang Lin's voice carried an air of authority. As his words fell, the purple lightning around him erupted once again, charging toward the starry sky and the clouds. The countless thunderbolts continually surged upward, surrounding Wang Lin in the center. This scene left the cultivators inside the demon sect dumbfounded, their minds in shock and awe. The supreme elder of the demon sect's eyes glinted with sharp light as he took a deep breath. Break through the heavenly tribulation for me. Wang Lin shouted in a thunderous roar, pointing his hands fiercely at the starry sky's cloud layer. With a series of thunderous booms, the thunderbolts surging upward grew wild and began to coalesce. In an instant, they transformed into a massive thunderbolt 1,000 feet long, carrying Wang Lin's will as it hurtled toward the cloud layer. With a tremendous crash, the thunderbolt collided with the cloud layer, creating a cosmic sound more intense than any before, reverberating across the entire ninth stage star domain. Inside the divine sect, Mu Bingmei, who had been imprisoned for 10 years, was awoken from her meditation by the thunderous rumblings. Looking up at the sky, she saw it had turned completely black, violently shaking, as if the heavens themselves were about to collapse. Beside her, Wang Shanshan's face went pale as she also gazed at the sky. Inside the secret chamber where Shui Dozi resided, the seven-colored light in his brow dimmed, revealing the tip of a seven-colored nail protruding from his forehead. His veins bulged as he struggled to expel the seven-colored nail. The previous rumblings of the heavens hadn't distracted him. This was the most critical moment. Even if the heavens collapsed, he wouldn't dare glance away. All his focus was on expelling the seven-colored nail. But just then, the thunderclap of the heavens erupted once again. Within the thunder, Wang Lin's will surged, and as the sound echoed, it entered Shui Dozi's secret chamber. The seven-colored nail in his forehead, which had been growing dimmer, suddenly flared up with bright light as it resonated with Wang Lin's will in the thunder. In a dazzling flash, Shui Daozi's expression changed dramatically as he spat out a mouthful of blood, his previous efforts undone. He stared blankly ahead, unleashing an earth-shattering roar of fury. In the breaking heaven sect within the ninth stage star domain, they too heard the thunderous rumblings and saw the swirling clouds in the sky. They immediately activated the sect protection formation. The sect master of the breaking heaven sect sat quietly in his secluded meditation, silently watching the starry sky. After a long sigh, he stood up and swept his sleeves, breaking open the sect protection formation. Under the storm clouds of the heavenly tribulation, he stepped forward, heading toward the crack in the demon sect. In the ninth stage star domain, aside from the demon sect, divine sect, and breaking heaven sect, there was also the mysterious ghost sect. At this moment, the starry sky was covered in clouds, and thunder roared. On a cultivation star belonging to the ghost sect, a formation had already been activated. However, within this formation, a massive black phantom appeared, its body towering to around 10,000 feet, with a single horn on its head, resembling a demon god. It greedily stared at the clouds, its body radiating demonic aura. In its left eye, 9 demon stars revolved. Each time they spun, a strange force from the clouds merged into its body. The thunderous rumblings echoed out from the ninth stage star domain, spreading to the 8th stage, causing the cultivators from the 8th stage sects to change color, their minds shaken, but they were left in confusion. Outside the crack in the demon sect, Wang Lin, carrying Li Qianmei on his back, looked up at the purple cloud layer. This heavenly tribulation was the greatest he had ever encountered in his life. It was also incredibly strange. making him recall the unusual world he had once seen during the heavenly tribulation in the Alliance Star domain. He remembered the ancient gods, ancient demons, and ancient monsters carved into statues, as well as that strange youth sitting cross-legged in one of the statues. His gaze pierced through the clouds, clearly seeing the white jade pavilion and the statue sitting cross-legged within it, as well as the two stone swords placed in front of the statue. This heavenly tribulation hasn't fully triggered yet. It's still not enough to break the sealed realm grand array. At that moment, one of the stone swords in front of the statue suddenly trembled, and a wisp of green mist rose from it, swirling like smoke, instantly transforming into a green phantom sword. The moment the sword appeared, the heavens and earth trembled, and a sword aura that couldn't be described broke through the cloud layer, heading straight for Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression grew serious. As the green phantom sword neared, he raised his right hand and pointed forward. Two phantom deer beasts flickered at his fingertip, intertwining to release a barrage of sword chi. With a booming sound, the sword chi didn't spread but instead concentrated, merging into one, and hurtled toward the green phantom sword. The thunderous clash sounded as the green sword aura collided with Wang Lin's barrage of 1,000,000 sword strikes. Sword flashes spread out, and the booming sounds echoed. The green sword aura was gradually weakened but never shattered. At that moment, the stone sword in front of the statue, emanating green mist, began to crack, and in an instant, more and more cracks appeared until it exploded, releasing a green long sword that emitted a green light, breaking through the sky and charging toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's pupils contracted sharply, his expression growing intensely grave. With a wave of his right hand, a surge of blood-red light spread out. His blood sword instantly appeared in his grasp. With the blood sword in hand, a glint of brilliance flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. At the exact moment when a crack formed in the stone sword and a green longsword shot out toward him, he slashed forward with the blood sword. A thunderous boom erupted, echoing across the starry sky. The force of the slash tore open the void, rending a gash through space itself. The blood sword met the green longsword head-on in a violent collision. Explosions of sound reverberated instantly. The green sword let out a sharp, high-pitched screech as its green light shattered, tendrils of blood entwining around it as it was flung backward. Yet the blood sword remained unscathed. Its blade rang with a mighty resonance, blazing with an indescribable, savage fury as it gave chase. Just then, near the statue beside the white jade pavilion within the surging clouds, another stone sword cracked and burst apart with a loud snap. From within, a deep blue radiance shone forth. A blue longsword howled out, joining the green sword in a direct clash against the blood sword. Thunderous roars filled the heavens as the three swords clashed again and again, shaking the starry sky violently with their impact. The blood sword's origin was mysterious, and it harbored unimaginable might. Even when facing two swords born of the heavenly tribulation, it showed no signs of defeat. On the contrary, its strikes grew fiercer and more overwhelming. From the rolling clouds came another thunderous rumble. As the three swords battled, a wave of aura pressure burst out from the depths of the clouds. It spread like a tangible force, and at the same time, more of the white jade pavilion emerged from the rift in the clouds. The statue seated cross-legged atop the pavilion was now more clearly visible. Embedded in its back were two stone swords. At that moment, one of them exploded with a boom. A flash of black light followed, and a black longsword surged out, wild and fierce, joining the green and blue swords to press down on the blood sword together. Roars and tremors continued as the three mysterious swords launched their joint assault. The blood sword grew more frenzied, its blood-red glow soaring into the heavens, but it was gradually forced back, clearly showing signs of being overwhelmed. The blood sword possessed a spirit of its own. It let out a piercing howl, brimming with fury toward the three swords that were, in truth, far beneath it in power. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Wang Lin took a single step forward. The ancient god star mark between his brows spun rapidly. As it reached its peak speed, he extended his right index finger and pressed it to his forehead, piercing the skin to draw a drop of blood. This blood wasn't mere essence spirit blood. It was the condensed power of the ancient god within the star mark. As soon as it emerged, it flew straight toward the blood sword. The moment the sword absorbed it, a terrifying aura pressure exploded outward. The bloodlight became several times more intense. A massive blood-red phantom materialized above the sword. Though its form was hazy, it vaguely resembled a human. Its appearance caused the blood sword to sweep forth in dominance. The three-colored swords were instantly pushed back, their clangs ringing out, clearly no match. Just then, the final stone sword beside the white jade pavilion statue shattered with a deafening roar. A golden light shot skyward and condensed into a golden greatsword, brimming with pressure and sword aura. It pierced forward and clashed directly with the blood sword. With a thunderous boom, the blood sword was driven back once more. Now, for swords, green, blue, black, and gold, floated in the air, circling above. As they spun, a massive vortex formed in the sky. Within it, all was chaos, as if a world existed inside. Though that world was shrouded in mist, faint outlines of countless planets could be seen. Upon those planets were boundless mortals. Murmurs drifted from within the vortex, forming a sound so strange it shook the hearts and minds of all who heard it. This voice spread rapidly, blanketing the entire ninth-rank star domain. It pierced through every sect's protective formations and entered the soul of every cultivator and every fierce beast. The land of the other shore. One kulpa opens, one kulpa closes. Those who enter my other shore shall gain eternal life, attain the great Tao, and be freed from all worldly pain and conflict. They shall become my disciples. Those who enter my other shore shall be the pride of heaven and earth, surpass all others, and seize the heavenly Tao. Those who enter my other shore shall see the return of departed kin and friends. All shall be reborn, complete, perfect, and supreme on the cultivation path. Those who enter the other shore shall transcend the cycle of reincarnation, no birth, no death. Those who enter my other shore, think of it, and you shall arrive. A voice filled with divine pressure resounded from the vortex world. It was grand and awe-inspiring, and upon hearing it, one couldn't help but feel a comforting, unwavering trust. Within the demon sect's grand formation, the thousands of cultivators who had entered to escape the heavenly tribulation immediately showed dazed expressions. One young cultivator's pupils lost focus entirely. His gaze became joyful, a smile spreading across his face. But that smile was disturbingly eerie. In the next instant, a flash of light enveloped his body, and he vanished. As he disappeared, hundreds of nearby cultivators also revealed that same eerie smile. Light shimmered around them, and they vanished one by one. This is the summoning of the other shore within the immeasurable tribulation. Steady your mind. If your Tao heart wavers, you'll be pulled into that vortex world. The middle-aged man, grand elder of the demon sect, gazed solemnly at the vortex swirling beyond the formation. His voice thundered like a storm, echoing across the entire demon sect, jarring countless cultivators from their dazed stupor. Yet just as they awakened, they slipped back into confusion again. And it wasn't just the demon sect. People had gone missing in the ghost sect, divine sect, and heaven-breaking sect, and even among the many fierce beasts hidden within the star mist. Blood swords circling him, Wang Lin lifted his head and stared at the vortex formed by the four swords. That strange voice seeped into his very soul. As a calamity bearer, he sensed it with far more clarity than others. To his ears, it was no aged chant, it shifted constantly. At times, it was the voice of his mother, then his father, then Li Muan, Wang Ping, even the old sacred emperor of the vermilion bird. The overlapping voices twisted into a haunting, surreal melody, reverberating in Wang Lin's mind. The other shore, cold light flickered in his eyes. His Tao heart was firm, far beyond the reach of ordinary cultivators. Even ancient monsters who had cultivated for centuries couldn't compare. His life had been a storm of peril, mere illusions could never shake him. Is there truly another shore? He raised his right hand. With a sudden leap, he slashed down fiercely toward the vortex of four swords, blood sword in hand. Heaven and earth roared. Sword light erupted, blazing toward the vortex with blinding intensity. The strike landed with a thunderous boom, sending shockwaves outward as a massive force burst from the vortex, colliding head-on with Wang Lin. His body trembled and was forced back several steps. Just then, the vortex began to spin wildly, ascending into the sky before vanishing into the roiling clouds. From within the clouds came a deafening roar, as if summoned by the vortex. Storms from all directions converged in an instant. In mere moments, the churning clouds condensed into a towering mountain of cloud. An endless cloud mountain formed entirely from violet mist. It exuded a pressure that shook the heavens. Upon its surface, countless runes flashed, intertwining to form a single character, Tao. All clouds in the starry sky were drawn into it, making the cloud mountain grow ever larger until it seemed to prop up the cosmos itself. Thunderous rumbling echoed endlessly as the colossal cloud mountain bore down on Wang Lin, threatening to crush him beneath its weight. The aura pressure it emitted was so immense that the nearby grand formation of the demon sect began to fracture. Cracks spread rapidly with echoing snaps. Beneath the mountain, Wang Lin's entire body creaked under the strain. From every direction, unimaginable pressure bore down on him. Even the starry sky beneath his feet groaned from the weight. His face flushed. Primordial energy surged through his body. He looked up at the descending cloud mountain. His gaze flashed with fierce light. This was the moment he had waited for, the full release of heavenly tribulation's power. As it pressed down, Wang Lin erupted with a roar. His blood sword swept downward. With a booming crash, the starry sky around him split open. A massive rift tore through space, widening as layer upon layer unraveled. His full cultivation flared outward. Combined with the terrifying pressure of the descending cloud mountain, the rift grew ever more unstable. Within moments, it fully burst open, revealing the void beneath this vast star domain. And in that void lay the sealed realm grand array. As the rift tore open, a bone-chilling aura surged forth. Wang Lin flashed inside, stepping directly into the void. The cloud mountain locked onto him and plunged down, ripping the rift even wider as it followed him in. Within the void, as Wang Lin arrived and the cloud mountain burst through, a massive net-like structure shimmered into view, emitting powerful waves of energy, blocking all life forms from passing through. Wang Lin's eyes sparkled with intensity. As he retreated toward the net-like formation of the sealed realm grand array, his hands formed seals. A branded imprint materialized before him. Just then, the pursuing cloud mountain crashed down upon him with a world-shaking boom. Wang Lin threw up both hands, as if bearing the mountain itself. An indescribable force slammed into him. He shuddered violently, coughing blood as he redirected that power into the sealed realm grand array. In an instant, the entire void blazed with light, revealing an endless network, an immeasurable net that spanned all of inner realm, stretching beyond sight. For countless ages, no cultivator had ever truly breached it. Not once had the formation been broken to allow free passage into the outer realm. Only a rare few, dazzling beyond measure, had ever shattered it alone through sheer force, and walked out. But throughout history, no one has ever attempted to break the sealed realm grand array using the power of heavenly tribulation until now. Wang Lin is the first. I have encountered the power of heavenly tribulation countless times and overcome each one. Today, this heavenly tribulation is strange, but it still cannot destroy me. As long as my Tao heart remains unshaken, my spirit remains undying, and my body stands as solid as Mount Tai, nothing in this world can stop me from attaining the Tao. Wang Lin's voice was calm, his words slow yet resolute. He formed a seal with his hands, and the blood sword swirled around his body, screeching loudly as it flew, its red light enveloping him entirely. The blood-red glow spread out, and as the cloud mountain came crashing down again, Wang Lin suddenly waved his hands outward. At that moment, an ancient god phantom appeared beside him. Simultaneously, Wang Lin raised his right fist and struck the air toward the mountain peak, while his left hand pressed against the sealed realm grand array. The ancient god phantom followed his movements, raising its right fist and throwing a direct punch at the descending cloud mountain. The oppressive force of the mountain collided violently with the punch of the ancient god, causing an earth-shattering explosion. A roar of destruction surged, and a wave of devastating power erupted, flowing into the ancient god Phantom, and then through Wang Lin's left hand into the sealed realm Grand Array. The thunderous booms continued as the sealed realm Grand Array flashed fiercely, suddenly emitting a dazzling rainbow light. The moment the light appeared, it spread across the entire void and the sealed realm Grand Array. In an instant, this Grand Array, at the moment of the rainbow's appearance, erupted open with a loud bang. Its opening blocked any attempt of anyone from the inner realm from stepping forward even an inch. Under the flashing rainbow light, even the cloud mountains seemed to be pierced through, reduced to nothingness in front of such brilliance. A tremendous aura of pressure erupted from the sealed realm Grand Array, sending waves of booming sounds far and wide, shaking the heavens and earth. Moreover, the assault on the array had reached the point of manifesting the array's spirit. Under the intense flashes of rainbow light, a silver-white beam of light suddenly condensed from the array. The light, like lightning, swiftly transformed into a long spear, crackling with endless electricity. With the roar of thunder, the spear shot toward the cloud mountain. Thunder wrapped around the spear, crackling with explosive sounds, carrying immense power. In an instant, the spear pierced through the cloud mountain as though it were a bolt of lightning. The cloud mountain trembled violently, collapsing and turning into countless swirling clouds, revealing four spinning swords within. Wang Lin felt a surge of discomfort as well. The energy he transferred into the sealed realm Grand Array had caused injuries to himself. Blood spurted from his mouth, but his expression remained resolute as he coldly stared at the array and the heavenly tribulation, which were locked in a violent clash. Neither the sealed realm Grand Array nor the heavenly tribulation was something Wang Lin welcomed. He could never forget the images he saw within the rainbow realm, where the sealed realm Grand Array had soaked up the blood of countless cultivators throughout history. The sounds of their unwilling roars and screams still echoed in Wang Lin's ears. I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept this. One day, our descendants will break through this formation and destroy you outsiders, exterminating all life. Your blood will flood the realm. The voice that first echoed had burned Wang Lin's blood, igniting his fighting spirit. After all, he was born and raised in the inner realm. It was his home. As the cloud mountain collapsed and the four swords' rotations were interrupted by the lightning of the white spear, a brief pause followed. Just then, outside the tear in the void, in the starry sky where the heavenly tribulation truly existed, vast clouds surged in, revealing the white jade pavilion that was slowly emerging from the stars. Upon the pavilion, a statue sat cross-legged. At this very moment, a soft light flickered from its forehead, spreading across its entire body, giving the appearance that the statue was melting. Most notably, the statue's right hand instantly transformed from stone into flesh and blood. The right hand moved. The statue's right hand slowly lifted, pressing gently toward the crack leading to the sealed realm Grand Array in the void. 9 palaces. Immeasurable. A vague voice echoed through the starry sky. The instant the statue's right hand pressed down, the 4 spinning swords in the void immediately flew back, accompanied by the swirling clouds. These clouds surrounded the statue, forming a massive vortex that grew larger as the swords continued to spin within. As the blurry voice continued to spread, the world where the white jade pavilion existed in the starry sky began to tear apart with a loud cracking sound. A huge gap was torn open, revealing the true scene inside. Within the crack, 9 nearly identical planets appeared clearly in the vast heavens, arranged in a formation that emitted the mighty aura of an ancient, immortal domain. Kun Palace, Kan Palace, Jin Palace, Jin Palace, Zhong Palace, Sun Palace, Li Palace, Kun Palace, Dui Palace. On each of these planets, different golden runes manifested, forming an unimaginable aura pressure. The moment these 9 planets appeared, cracks burst open with a loud rumble, growing smaller and smaller, until they shrank countless times and directly appeared in the starry sky. Moreover, they pierced through the starry sky to reach the entrance of the void sealing array, appearing within the void, spinning in opposite directions outside the sealing array, heading straight for Wang Lin's descent. 9 Palaces Immortal Seal. This sealing was not about sealing life, but sealing it. At the same time, 9 white spots instantly appeared on Wang Lin's body. These 9 white spots corresponded to the 9 blood acupoints throughout his body, connecting and piercing through him. With the arrival of the 9 palaces, the 9 blood acupoints on his body immediately caused unbearable pain, as if 9 nails were driven deep into him, nearly driving him insane. Wang Lin's body trembled, and with a roar to the sky, he glared fiercely at the descending 9 palaces. The pain on his body intensified, but this pain ignited Wang Lin's defiance. He had always been a rebellious cultivator, never submitting to anyone. He could never be bent by heaven or fate, let alone this heavenly tribulation. From the moment he chose the path of rebellious cultivation, he was destined to battle heaven and fight against fate. At this moment, while roaring, Wang Lin's body emitted a series of popping sounds, and his entire body exploded, swelling up. The 6-star ancient god appeared outside the sealing array, his gigantic body nearly 1,000 feet tall, making Wang Lin look like a giant from ancient times. As he roared, he concealed Li Qianmei within him. Clenching his fists, he stomped with his right foot and rushed toward the 9 palaces. Boom, 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 boom. The instant his body shot forward, 4 of his 9 blood acupoints immediately collapsed, causing a massive spray of blood, while a destructive force spread throughout his body. At the moment when 4 of the blood acupoints collapsed, 4 of the 9 palaces transformed into white light and pierced through the void at an indescribable speed, imprinting themselves on Wang Lin's collapsing blood acupoints. Wang Lin's body trembled, and at this moment, a series of booming sounds erupted again from his body as the remaining 5 palaces also collapsed. Similarly, the 5 stars that descended in the void emitted light. As they dissipated, their light broke through the heavens and earth, piercing into Wang Lin's collapsing 5 blood acupoints. Once the 9 palaces' stars entered Wang Lin's body, they immediately unleashed endless destruction. As they penetrated, they converged on his chest toward the final palace. Once it was completed, the 9 palaces' seal would be fully formed. The 9 palaces' stars were not cultivation stars, nor did they contain any living beings. Instead, they were 9 huge meteors, refined countless years ago into tribulation objects. The pain surging within Wang Lin almost shattered his soul. Under this excruciating pain, his roar grew more intense. The ancient god star mark on his forehead spun rapidly, and his expression became even more ferocious. 9 stones can seal immortals, but I am no immortal. I am an ancient god. Wang Lin roared, and his body shook violently. At that instant, the power of the ancient god exploded from within him. The booming sounds reverberated, and the 9 blood acupoints on his body twitched. The 9 palaces' meteorites were actually forcibly halted, preventing them from merging into the final palace on Wang Lin's chest. But the heavenly tribulation had not ended. Purple lightning, 4-colored kill swords, summons from the other shore, Cloud Mountain's annihilation. All of this was only the beginning of this tribulation. Immeasurable tribulation, without beginning or end, until it was over. After the 9 palaces came the 8 trigrams. 8 trigrams. Immeasurable, from the world where the white jade pavilion resided. With a wave of the statue's right hand, a booming sound echoed, and behind it, 8 giant symbols appeared. These symbols were the seals of the 8 trigrams. Qian, Kuan, Kan, Li, Zhun, Jin, Sun Dui. The 8 trigrams revolved, forming their own world. Among them, Qian represents heaven, Kuan represents earth, Kan represents water, Li represents fire, Zhun represents thunder, Jin represents mountain, Sun represents wind, and Dui represents marsh. The 8 trigrams were unparalleled. The moment they appeared, heaven, earth, water, fire, thunder, mountain, wind, and marsh all manifested and transformed, forming a massive rotating wheel. As it spun with a rumbling sound, it passed through the white jade pavilion, burst out through a crack, and entered the void. It expanded wildly, becoming a law wheel as large as the heavens, heading straight for Wang Lin. Wang Lin's face turned pale. His primordial energy had to constantly provide Li Qianmei with the time art, and the ancient god's power had to continuously push out the 9 palaces' star marks from his body. At this moment, facing the far stronger 8 trigrams compared to the previous 9 palaces, his pupils constricted, especially with the law wheel formed by the 8 trigrams. Every time it rotated, the 8 forms it contained changed in an instant, making it impossible to track. Moreover, its speed was so fast that it almost arrived in an instant, descending upon Wang Lin. In this critical moment, on the brink of life and death, Wang Lin's heart actually calmed down. He took several steps backward and pressed tightly against the sealing array. Lord of the Sealed Realm, I've brought you here to the sealing array. You may appear. Because of this, Wang Lin was somewhat confident in breaking through the Sealed Realm Grand Array. This was his second assurance, besides relying on the power of the heavenly tribulation. At the moment his divine sense transmitted, the heavenly reversal pearl, which had previously dissipated within his primordial spirit, suddenly appeared. The moment it materialized, a jade pendant emerged from within the heavenly reversal and shot directly through Wang Lin's body, flying out from within him. At the moment the jade pendant appeared, the heavens and earth rumbled, and the entire void trembled. Even the 8 trigrams' heavenly tribulation shook in response. Inside the demon sect Grand Array, the unfathomably powerful Grand Elder's divine sense spread out, observing the heavenly tribulation while also keeping an eye on Wang Lin, the tribulation bearer. When the jade pendant appeared, this middle-aged man suddenly shuddered. His eyes widened in disbelief, filled with shock. The sect master's jade pendant. He actually has the sect master's jade pendant. Could it be that he is the sect master's chosen heir? This middle-aged man, who had cultivated for countless millennia, was rarely moved, but now, his mind was shaken, and his complexion flushed with excitement. Without a moment's hesitation, he stepped forward, shattering the Grand Array, and appeared in the starry sky. With another step, he entered the void beside the Sealed Realm Grand Array. The instant he arrived, the jade pendant radiated light, and endless crystal brilliance spread out. A towering celestial tree materialized from the jade pendant with a mighty roar, supporting the heavens and the earth. The appearance of this celestial tree caused the entire void to tremble violently. The 8 trigrams was instantly enveloped by a strange force, halting all movements. The tree was so massive that it spread throughout the void, gradually revealing an ancient human face on its trunk. Sect Master. The demon sect Grand Elder's face was full of emotion as he gazed at the giant tree, his eyes filled with extreme reverence. At the moment the giant tree appeared, a huge wave surged within the Cloud Sea Star Domain's 9th stage. Shui Dozi, who had been snarling in his secluded cultivation, suddenly trembled, his gaze snapping toward the distance in fear. Master. Outside the Ghost Sects formation, the 9-star ancient demon illusion, which had been secretly devouring the heavenly tribulation's power, immediately changed its expression, looking toward the distance with fluctuating emotions. Lord of the Sealed Realm. In the starry sky, the sect master of the Breaking Heaven sect walked forward but suddenly stopped, his expression growing serious as he gazed far off into the distance, falling into thought. In the void, the ancient face on the celestial tree emitted an air of timelessness. With a nostalgic gaze, it silently observed its surroundings, before finally resting its gaze on the Sealed Realm Grand Array. After a long pause, it sighed deeply, and an ancient, weary voice echoed out. Xin Bing. Here, my lord. The demon sect Grand Elder's expression shook, and for a moment, it felt as though he had returned to the past. Without hesitation, he bowed in respect. Use my ancient artifact to reorganize the Cloud Sea Star Domain. Gather all your forces and prepare for the War of the Outer Realms in a few years. Kill all who resist. The demon sect Grand Elder's body trembled, and he suddenly raised his head, his eyes gleaming with cold light as he respectfully said, Understood. Use my command and borrow my ancient artifact. After unifying the Cloud Sea, proceed to the other 3 great star domains. Find Ninyunzi, Hongshanzi, and Zhengxianzi. Tell them that the pact we made all those years ago can now be fulfilled. I want you to integrate the other 3 star domains with the fastest speed. uniting the four great celestial realms of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, preparing for the battle years from now. Understood. The demon sect Grand Elder's face was filled with excitement. The ancient face on the celestial tree gazed into the distance. After a long moment, it spoke softly. Tao slave, if you are willing to fully assist the demon sect in carrying out this plan, I will spare your life. Inside the divine sect's secret chamber, Shui Daozi trembled, his forehead sweating. He immediately fell to his knees, repeatedly bowing. Demon Venerable, when you fled from the outer realms, I sent the entire ghost sect to you as disciples, helping you heal. Now that your injuries have healed, and you have become a 9-star ancient demon, it's time for us to fulfill our pact. The ancient demon's illusion outside the ghost sect's formation flickered. After a moment of silence, it nodded, gazing toward the sealed realm Grand Array's distant boundary. The ancient demon's illusion exuded cold light and hatred. After speaking these words, the ancient face on the celestial tree cast a meaningful glance at Wang Lin before softly speaking. Heavenly tribulation is both a calamity and a blessing. There are things I cannot directly say due to the ancient immortal decree, but you should understand. The heavenly tribulation is not a thing of the ancient immortal domain. Even an immortal emperor faces the heavenly tribulation. The heavenly tribulation comes from the primordial era, from the birth of the heavens and earth, from the death of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly tribulation you face now is just a small tribulation. It is not a great tribulation, nor is it the ultimate heavenly tribulation that can annihilate all living things. As he spoke, he slowly closed his eyes. The celestial tree crumbled with a loud bang and dissipated into the void. Only the jade pendant remained, turning into crystal light, falling onto the sealed realm Grand Array. The moment it touched, the array shook violently. The lights flickered, and the artifact spirits rapidly materialized, seemingly resisting with all their might. However, the power contained within the jade pendant was exceptionally strange. Slowly, it transformed into countless green threads that spread along the immense ceiling boundary Grand Array, gradually vanishing without a trace. At the moment the green threads dissipated, the 8 trigrams dharma wheel, which had been frozen in mid-air within the void, suddenly moved with a thunderous roar. It broke free from its stillness and, with a deafening howl, rushed toward Wang Lin. Heavenly tribulation is both a calamity and a creation. The extreme heavenly tribulation. Extreme tribulation. Extreme realm. Wang Lin's eyes flickered as he fixed his gaze on the approaching 8 trigrams dharma wheel. His eyes grew brighter with a faint sense of comprehension, but he was still uncertain. With your current cultivation, you should not probe the power of the extreme realm. Wait until your cultivation reaches shattered nirvana, perhaps. Then you might grasp something from the heavenly tribulation. Qing Shui's words from years ago echoed in his mind. The 8 trigrams dharma wheel roared closer, its speed increasing as it directly hurtled toward Wang Lin. His expression shifted rapidly, and the moment the dharma wheel approached, madness flashed in his eyes. He had made a decision. Let's go for broke. Wang Lin growled, abandoning all resistance. The 8 trigrams dharma wheel slammed into him, causing his body to collapse instantly. It shattered into 8 symbols that pierced through his skin, directly merging into his bloodline. The 8 trigrams contained the essence of heaven and earth, forming its own world. Upon imprinted on Wang Lin's body, it transformed into 8 overwhelming forces, causing his body to nearly crumble. Blood sprayed from his mouth as the 8 symbols resonated with the 9 palaces, creating an unimaginable seal. Inside Wang Lin's body, chaotic destruction unfolded. Fortunately, as an ancient god, Wang Lin's recovery was astonishing. Despite the brutal attacks from the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams, he growled ferociously as veins bulged across his body, rapidly recovering. Yet, the 8 trigrams was exceptionally eerie. As it roared within Wang Lin's body, it transformed into 64 trigram configurations. As it continued to shift, the elemental forces, earth, water, fire, thunder, mountain, and wind, rapidly alternated, forming 128 configurations, and ultimately, it became endless. Booms echoed from within Wang Lin's body as his massive form was enveloped by layers of the trigrams. Blood poured from every part of his body. This trivial power of the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams is not enough to kill me. Is there a stronger heavenly tribulation? Wang Lin's expression twisted with ferocity as he looked toward the swirling heavenly tribulation vortex in the rift of the void, roaring at it. At the sound of his roar, the heavenly tribulation vortex emitted a thunderous rumble. 7 blinding beams of light suddenly shot out from within, starry beams of light. The starlight was dazzling. The moment it burst from the heavenly tribulation vortex, it transformed into 7 cultivation stars. These were true cultivation stars, not like the meteors of the 9 palaces. The 7 cultivation stars shimmered, forming the Big Dipper formation. After the 9 palaces came the 8 trigrams, and after the 8 trigrams came the 7 stars of the Big Dipper. The 7 stars, Tian Shu, Tian Xian, Tian Ji, Tian Quan, Yu Hong, Kai Yang, and Yao Guang, shone brightly. 7 stars. Immeasurable. The vague voice echoed once more, and the light from the 7 stars flashed violently, piercing the void and the starry sky, spreading across the entire cloud sea, replacing all the starlight. In that instant, it seemed as though all the light in the universe was absorbed by these 7 stars, transforming into an earth-shattering murderous aura. This was the 7 stars' murderous aura, the calamity of the Big Dipper. The 7 stars were for killing, and the Big Dipper was for destruction. This 7 stars Big Dipper was not a seal, but a killing tribulation. As it approached, the 7 stars beneath the starlight suddenly transformed into 7 star marks, charging toward Wang Lin like 7 killing swords, piercing toward him. At that very moment, the vague voice once again rang out across the heavens and earth. 6 directions. Immeasurable. The 8 desolates and 6 directions represent all directions. Up, down, east, west, north, and south, symbolizing the entire world. Alongside the 8 desolates, they encompass all the positions of the universe's primordial chaos. Under the 6 directions, there was no retreat within the heaven and earth. Even if the body collapsed, the soul could not escape. This was the seal of heaven's Tao, and within its cover, there was only one path: battle. In the 6 directions, the immediate appearance of 6 massive tortoise shells manifested, crashing toward Wang Lin with overwhelming force. As if that wasn't enough, after the 6 directions, the vague voice once again echoed. 5 elements. Immeasurable. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. These 5 elements make up the foundation of heaven and earth. Though overlapping with the 8 trigrams, they are distinct. The 5 elements are the core of the universe's structure, and without them, the heavens and earth would collapse. As these words echoed, 5 beams of light suddenly appeared in the void, transforming into 5 colossal hand seals. Each seal represented one of the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The metal hand seal contained the power to open the heavens, a force that could shatter anything. The wood hand seal radiated life energy, constantly shifting between life and death, generating an unimaginable life-death force. The water hand seal and fire hand seal represented the pinnacles of their respective elements, manifesting into monstrous tidal waves and endless flames, transforming into 2 gigantic hand seals as they rushed toward Wang Lin. Finally, there was the earth hand seal. This seal resembled the earth itself, emanating a weighty sense of determination. Its appearance seemed to condense all the power of the earth in this starry sky, giving off an aura of invincibility, as if nothing could destroy it.